Hey everyone, welcome back to Practicing My Way Back. I think for the near future I'm going to shift my posting date to Thursday. Wednesdays have just gotten a little bit busier, which is a good thing, but it's made it problematic trying to get these videos done and put them up on the internet. With resuming teaching full-time in the immediate future, I think best to make this jump now so things don't get too cluttered up. Anyway, what I'm thinking about this week is habits of mind. That's a phrase I've just stumbled across, and I may not be using it in the original context for which it was presented. Admittedly, I haven't read much about it beyond seeing it quoted. I will. But to my mind, habits of mind, it's kind of an equivalent of thought patterns. How do you think about things, whether consciously or unconsciously? Give an example. I don't know how many of you, certainly the younger folks among you won't remember this, but people of my generation may remember a baseball player by the name of Nomar Garciaparra. If you don't, it doesn't matter. He was a baseball player. He was a shortstop for the Boston Red Sox for many years. And he had an interesting, what looked like a physical habit from all intents and purposes. He goes up to the plate to take his swing, in the game. And he would do this thing with his batting gloves and his, he had these protectors and stuff. He had this complex ritual of tying things off, and he was the same, precise, the same every time. He'd do that, he'd get his bat up, and this is the other thing, he'd always swing at the first pitch. Drove baseball people crazy, because you'd never do that. Sometimes he'd connect, sometimes he wouldn't. But anyway, so he's doing all this thing. So at first glance, it looks like a silly baseball superstition. You see batters do this all the time, and pitchers have their things. I think, I'm not in his head or anything, but I think what's going on there is it's a mental preparation, right? So while he's doing this, he's kind of getting his mind set to try and, look at the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand, trying to figure out what the pitcher's going to do. It's more than just a superstition. I think it's a mental preparation, and it is an essential part, and this is key, and it's an essential part of his routine. And that's what I want to talk about, the essential parts of your routine and my routine, and how important it is to look at them so you don't turn around one day and going, why am I doing this? Why am I doing, this sort of thing? It's very easy to become really dogmatic about certain things. And it's not really very good. You kind of want to, anything that you do involving your practice, I think you want to have a really good reason for, or at least be clear in mind why it's there and why it's essential. Again, I think I mentioned this a couple of videos back. Some of the best advice I was ever given, always be clear about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay? The other piece of that I would add on was, and be prepared to let it go or to modify it. I have a couple good examples of this for you. In the first, this week, I had a little minor epiphany. I'm notorious for taking on way too much stuff. And I'm getting better about not doing it, but I just like doing things. I'm like, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that. So I had this crazy idea that I was going to schedule my days out, which is not the crazy part. I want to schedule my days out, but the amount of stuff that I wanted to hit, I wanted to do my piano practice, I wanted to do this particular piece of electronic music, I wanted to work on this kind of coding project, and I finally, on Sunday, I was working on a particular program, and I realized as I was working on this program, and this was really just kind of a series of experiments, there's nothing really serious going on there. I realized as I was working on this program, I'm like, hey, in this program, I've just solved the problem that I've been struggling with in this unrelated application. And I stopped and I said, isn't that interesting? So now I know this is possible. I just need to figure out a way to translate it into this other program, in this other language. And it was one of those flash of light things where I realized that, as long as I am being creative, as long as I am applying that in a direction, I don't have to hit every single thing, every single project every day, or practice every single piece of music that I have every day, because all of this stuff works in a synergistic manner, right? Obviously, you need to learn pieces and you need to be familiar enough with them to play them, but you can let one of them go for a day or two, work on something completely different, unrelated, and you will bring back what you practiced to the older piece. So it's really a good lesson for me in particular in terms of time management and energy management in particular. You don't have to do it. Mozart, I'm sure I've quoted this to the three of you. Mozart famously said the key to doing many things at once is to do them one at a time. Right? That's the basic principle. So there's that idea. You don't have to do it all, and modify your routine. Right? I was for many years set on I have to practice this way. I have to practice this first, and then do scales, and then do this and do that. And I can't disrupt that routine. I can't disrupt that routine until you stop to think about it and think, why can't I disrupt it? And if you ask yourself, let's say for sake of argument, you have a process like that and you're unwilling to, I don't want to disrupt this. Well, ask yourself, what would happen if you were to disrupt that? And if you can't come up with a real concrete answer like, I won't ever be able to play again, or something like that, give it a shot. Try it out. See how it feels, right? So those are habits of mind. Those are the assumptions that we make that can, sometimes help us, but also sometimes hurt us. So spend some time thinking about that. Why am I doing it this way? Let me try it that way. And the beautiful thing about music and playing an instrument, and indeed all the arts, is they're creative processes. They're designed by their very nature. They're designed to be fiddled with. They're designed to be taken. In fact, you learn much more about it when you take these things apart and you look at them from different angles and you say, maybe I won't do that today. Maybe I'll do this today, and we'll see what that net result will be. And again, this, going back to documenting your work, either recording it or writing things down, so you can reflect on that efficiently, and then you can learn from the experience of the reflection. Anyway, that's what I have for you this week. I will see you next Thursday for yet another episode. So, in the meantime, work hard, have fun. See you.